All right, my name is Tyler Royke. I'm here with my co-host Jimmy Doolin. You're listening to ABC Agent Broker Conversations, where we talk all things real estate. And if you're tuning in, we'd like to speak with you as well. So drop a comment if you can, but otherwise enjoy the show. Jimmy, what's going on with you this week?
Man, I'll tell you what, I went to my first EXP sales rally. I went to the Nashville, Tennessee sales rally, hosted by, it's a couple,
Jay and Ashley.
Jay and Ashley Nelson.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went there. It was my first go. And I got to tell you something, man. I mean, I've spent 33 years at Remax, so I know our formats and what we do. And they were very, very different. I'm not, I would just say this particular sales rally felt very personal. It certainly wasn't corporate in any way, shape, or form. It felt really, really personal. Having Icon agents share some of their information. But it just, I don't know. I took some guests. I took three guests that are not affiliated with EXP. They all enjoyed it and spoke highly about it. One of them indicated that she'd like to join today, so I think she's going to sign up today. But yeah, it was a good experience. I really, really enjoyed it. Jay and Ashley came from the same background as me with Remax, so we had that in common. But I got to talk to them a bit and enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it.
That's amazing. Really cool to hear that was your experience with your first regional sales rally, and that you got some guests there, and one of them's ready to come on board. How did you connect with those guests that you brought? Were those people you had previously had a relationship with, or people you met more recently?
No, they were both past relationships. One of them is at an independent here in Indianapolis, and one is an owner of a brokerage in another state. Well, two are brokerage in another state. So I won't divulge any of that information for their protection. But at any event, the individual from the local independent company here sent a message yesterday, Sunday. So we were at the sales rally on Wednesday and Thursday, and Sunday she said, "Hey, I'm ready to make this change. Let's get it done." So coming in today to sign it. They were both past relationships, people that I know, people that like me, trust me, etc. And I just extended the invitation. Actually, extended it to a total of 5, because I had 3 go and two decline. So yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. They're simple. They are not complicated events. They are, but they're very personal. And then I had, in addition to 3 non-EXP, I also had 3 additional EXP agents from my team go. And so, one of them was new, and in his first 60 days has closed 2 deals. So he got to walk across the stage, be recognized, which was interesting because one of the reasons why he went is he wanted to get out of his comfort zone, and he wanted to network and interact with other people and strangers. And lo and behold, obviously there was the network aspecting, but in addition to the networking was also him walking across the stage and being handed the mic to tell his story. And then the other 2 agents that went with me from my team are both Icon agents, so they both walked across to receive recognition for becoming Icon. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a cool thing that people kind of get that spotlight, and hopefully they take away a really positive experience and feeling from having that too. I think that's part of the point, is just to give people a stage, and kind of let it be known that hey, we noticed what you're accomplishing here and making good things happen.
Yeah. I actually woke up on Thursday morning. We drove down on Wednesday, woke up on Thursday morning, and yours truly icon. So that was a good accomplishment as well. I was excited to see that. So I was pretty stoked to be recognized as well. And so yeah, it was all good, all very, very positive.
That's amazing, and congrats again to both you and your wife now, who are both icons, right?
Both icons, and our team is number one in Indiana through April, and number 85 in EXP through April. So yeah, so good things. Lots of good
Yeah,
things.
yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, I'm planning to go to. I think I might go to two regional rallies. I bought tickets to both of them. Just so Dallas is coming up Thursday, and then Houston on Monday. I was gonna go to the Houston because I've been to the Dallas one twice now, but then I figured out I've got like a solid sized group of mine is actually going to be at the Dallas one, so I wanted to come through because I'll have I think at least 8 people may be coming out to that and a couple of my icon agents. So I wanted to, go and support them. So yeah, should be a fun couple days. Those will be just a couple day trips, but primarily to go and connect with my people and help some of them make some good connections too in the process.
Yeah, and JD is on his way to Dallas for that retreat at Gene Fredericks. So
Nice.
so he's right now in Houston waiting on his layover, waiting on jumping the next flight to Dallas. So I'm excited to excited to see my 25-year-old experience these professional relational building, networking, and just putting all these pieces together. He scored his first listing in Jacksonville, which actually we should have him on here because I think he'd be. He doesn't understand, but he would be inspirational to a lot of people because he's door knocking. He's not building his business in Indianapolis, Indiana, where everybody knows his dad's name for 35 years of real estate. He's building it in Jacksonville, Florida, where he is the only Doolin that they're familiar with, and that's just merely from being a local college student and playing on the local college golf team and that kind of stuff. So he went out on his first. This is the first one he's gotten in Jacksonville, and he's super excited. The lady's taking his advice, and so yeah, that's been positive. Let's see here. Gosh, I don't know, man. It's just been a quarter of good stuff for the Doolin family. So yeah, lots of positives.
Yeah, I love to hear that. It's great to see the strides and big milestones being accomplished.
Yeah, we had a young man who just joined us 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and he did an open house yesterday, and he did an open house on Saturday. Excuse me, not Sunday. He did an open house on Saturday. About 10 o'clock at night, he starts texting my wife, and they talked from 10 to about 11:30. Somebody walked into the open house, indicated they wanted to buy it, didn't have a realtor, so they wanted to sign a buyer broker contract with him and have him represent them and buy the house. And then the neighbor came over and said that they wanted to sell a house and wanted to know if he would talk to him about selling. And this is a fresh, brand new guy. So
How about that?
yeah, so this morning I mentioned it to one of the lenders that's an affiliate here in our space. I said, "Hey, Tommy got a buyer." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm doing the pre-approval on him." So I was pretty excited to see that love spread around in the office. And
Yeah.
we all love seeing that newbie, right? The new person getting their career started, have that kind of confirmation that I can do this, right? I can put myself out there. I can go to an open house. I can show people around. I can be polite. I can engage, and maybe good things will come to me. And that's what's happened here. So super
Yeah.
excited for him.
It's awesome to see that happen.
Yeah.
You know, like wins aren't to be expected quickly, but hey, when it happens, it's, you know, it's cool to see people excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't expect it. So biggest thing, I brought this up with you last week. I told you I bought a Kindle Scribe.
Yep.
All right. I'm just going to tell you, Tyler, go buy one. Just
Okay.
don't even blink. Just get on your phone, Amazon, order a Kindle Scribe. It's the best money you could spend. I was at that sales rally. I took all my notes on my Scribe. Just sat there, took my notes. I can highlight. I can do whatever I want to it, just like a pen and paper and a highlighter and a pencil and a marker or whatever. I can do all the various things I want. So I took 10 pages of notes, handwritten notes. When I got done, there's an AI button. I put AI and I have two choices: summarize with AI, and or just convert it to text. And it went through and converted all of my handwriting into text, made it beautiful, and within minutes, AI converted all of that, and then I could go through, edit, make changes. It saves my original, so I don't lose anything. So now I have my handwritten version, and then I have the text version, and then from there, I was able to send those notes to my wife, who incorporated them into our team meeting, which is tomorrow. So I mean, just amazing. Like I can't even begin to tell you. Now, I need to get some training because there's some areas of this thing I'm fiddling around with. I am, and remember we were talking about the Gene Frederick, the napkin.
Napkin, yep.
Yeah. So I told you that's my intention with it, is to treat it like a modern day napkin. But what I've also done, you know how I'm using Corded?
Mm-hmm.
So within Corded, I can create the communication and it tracks how many people I've met with, meetings, etc. Once I'm scheduling stuff with them and it's moved beyond just simple dialogue, just me emailing or calling, but once I've actually connected and built some sort of rapport, I'm opening folders on this Scribe where I can keep my notes and relations with them. Then when I meet with them, if I do any napkin presentations or go over and I show them anything, then I'm moving all those notes into their folders so that I have kind of everything I've ever done with them in one place. I have all my scripts on there that I use when I make calls. I have any kind of PDF document that I've created, or any PDFs that EXP gives me that I use in presentations. I have it all in there. And as I write on them or as I do anything with them, I move them to the individual folder. And now I don't have any papers laying around and I've always got everything. So these are all notes since I've joined EXP, and I'm converting all those into PDFs and creating folders so that I have everything from like the Cabo event or from the alpha meetings that I've gone to with you, where I'll just keep them all in there and I'll always have all that to refer back to.
That's really cool. How much is it? I'm on Amazon. Is it the one that's like $365 or something?
That's
like
exactly it. Kindle Scribe. You can get it in. There's memory choices, so you can get like 32 gigabyte or 64. I got the biggest memory, and then I bought this simple. The only thing I would tell you need extra is buy a case for it. And I got this case on Amazon. It was like, $10 or something, but it's not a big deal. It just flops on there. and closes like that, and then your pen's on there. I'm telling you, man, I can't even. It's a game changer in terms of people like you and I that are constantly trying to learn and going places, and to be able to refer back to all your notes, and then also when you read a book, to be able to highlight that book and extract the notes from the book that you want. You can move those into a file and keep those too. So you can turn those into action items of things that you want to do that you learned, or you can cut them out of the book and then send them to somebody like, hey, I thought of you, and I think this little paragraph, read this paragraph, I think it'd be helpful. It's a game changer. I mean, and it's just so simple.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, I just put it on my list. Might end up getting it sooner than not, like you recommend. So
you should have it for Dallas, and we'll both be sitting there taking our notes on it. Because if you don't have it, you're going to walk away with a pad of paper, and I'm going to walk away with notes, and you're going to be going, son of a buck, I should have listened to Doolin.
Yeah, no doubt. Well,
So,
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so super excited about it. I've got I'll show you when I see you, but I've got all my formats. So, my activities are done within Corded, but like I said, when those people, so Corded's not a CRM, it's more of just an activity. I don't know. It's more of just kind of an activity platform.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you the data you need to do the things that you need to do, but it doesn't track. I mean, you do have within Corded, you have a cycle like you can change their status. So like contacted is where I start. It has like 14 statuses. I don't use them all, but I'll start with contacted. So that's like when I've actually reached out to somebody, whether it's email or text or phone. I put them as contacted, and then it's actually, then it has connected. So then if I connect with somebody, I have that, and then but once I get down the meeting held or meeting booked, meeting held, negotiating out, terms to get them to move over, etc. Once I get to those further down, then I'm putting them on here, and like I said, just I've got everything. And then if we sit there and take notes, as soon as I get done with the notes that I've handwritten, I can send them handwritten, or I can convert them.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you're just using it for everything now, essentially. Any notes?
Yeah, I mean, anytime I'm in a meeting, so I don't know about you. Do you take a lot of notes?
Yeah, my notepad, the notes app on your that's crazy. I've got thousands of notes on there.
So that's the other thing. On this Kindle, when you take those notes and you want to move them to your phones, because you always have your phone with you, maybe there's certain files, you can convert them to text and move them right to your phone. So, and you can also take all the notes on your phone and move them to your Kindle, and then within your Kindle, you can summarize them, et cetera, et cetera. But you can have them there, and so anyway, I'm really, really, obviously I'm excited about it because I'm kind of finding my groove and getting the systems in place. So one of the speakers that we had, or not one of the speakers, I guess the speaker. It looks like the format of those sales rallies is a couple icon speakers, corporate staff, recognition of different milestones for the agents, and then maybe one paid speaker. That was our format. So I don't know if that's the way they're all done or not, but we had that. Remember in Cabo, we had that coach, that Pray Drive coach.
Yeah, Coach Burt.
Yeah, Burke. Yeah.
Burt, yep.
Yep. So he was the speaker at ours, and I thought he was. I don't know if it was because this was a smaller venue, more personal. I don't know if it was my frame of mind. But man, he really spoke to me. It was pretty powerful. He damn near had me in tears, honestly.
Wow.
Just thinking through all of the, the loss of my daughter, and just like the stuff he was saying just was pulling out lots of emotion. So it was, at one point in time, I had to look down and not look at him because I was just ready to start weeping. So he really got to me. So I enjoyed that. And it was in Nashville. I did, that's where he is. Remember, he said he was building the Greatness Factory there?
Yeah.
So the Greatness Factory is open. And I'm thinking about going down there. They've got a class coming up in June that I'm thinking about taking. End of June. I've got to go to Jacksonville, unfortunately, for more of these. Well, there's two reasons I'm going down. One, because my daughter's boyfriend will be released from that whole accident, and so we're going down there for him. But then the other thing is the Florida court system screwed up, and so the drunk driver that killed my kid, they filed an appeal, and because they put him away from prison for 30 years, and he should have got 29, and it's like 6 days he gets out earlier than what they said. It's stupid. Oh, and the other thing is, believe it or not, this will blow your mind. I actually have to get deposed on my relationship with my daughter as we go through the civil. They want the defense attorneys for these drunks that killed my daughter. They get to depose me about my relationship with her, which doesn't make any sense. Anyway, moral story is I'm going down for all that stuff. On the way down, Nashville's on our route, so I think I may go to one of his events. It's just a 2-day.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be good. He's I've heard him speak. He's definitely I feel like he's probably a great coach if you work with him.
Yeah, he offered up a free thing, which was, kind of a connect. And so I took him up on that, and I had that on Friday. That's when they kind of explained to me the model and what they do and how they do it. And the coaching that they had didn't really work for me at this juncture in my life, but maybe some of the classes and the content I could see being very valuable. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We'll see.
Cool.
He had somebody there at the Nashville sales rally that signed up for his coaching in Cabo, where you and I were. So anyway, what's happening in your world?
Yeah, just continue to forge the path forward. With everything I'm working on and growth and all that stuff. Just I see no shortage of opportunity looking forward, which is exciting. I feel like this month it's just going to be primarily about refining, just key aspects to really keep building upon it in the time ahead, and just have all the systems and stuff dialed in. I mean, I see an opportunity to just get better for not just future partners, but even current partners, as far as the cadence of different pieces of the value. And I think I can do a better job of organizing some of the people I'm already working with to just make it a more valuable thing for everyone. So that's something I've been looking at, and just I think this month is going to be primarily about refining things more so than adding more fuel to the growth. But I think the growth is going to be there regardless. But I just want to make sure that I'm not so focused on getting new connections in the pipeline that I'm not really kind of working on what I already have in the process. So for me, it's just kind of I feel like I hit a point where I need to kind of work on some of what I already have, and not necessarily just keep adding to it. But probably a good problem to have. Like for instance, I just keep having a thought of like, I see such a big opportunity to help some of my key people get some things into motion. Like, I see people with potential where I know if they're doing this, that, the other, like they're going to drive new connections to their world, especially with the growth side of things. But at the same time, I see them not necessarily, they're always getting new clients. So like if you're always getting new clients and always putting new deals in the pipeline, it's like you never really end up spending the time on this other thing that's going to cause you to grow unless something just lands in your lap. So, I just kind of see an opportunity to, kind of work with, just be more intentional, spending more time with those key people, helping them get those key things into motion. But yeah, that's just kind of what's on my mind. Because I'm having a good year so far, but I want to make sure that I think coming off this year, not only do I want to, kind of hit the personal milestones, but I want to make sure that like, the right pieces are into play to significantly grow and scale upon it. And, to really drive growth in the organization, as a whole is the bigger thing.
Well, I think EXP is doing their part to help us, man.
I think so. Yeah.
I continue to be impressed by the things that they're doing. And I've said this 100 times, nothing's perfect. So it doesn't mean that there aren't things I wish were, tweaked a little this way or a little that way because of my personal opinion. But it's a 90,000 agent company, not a one Jimmy Doolin company. So it has to accommodate all the people, not just me. But I am continuously impressed with the decisions that are being made. I like the direction. I like the tools. Did you see where the new Faster Track tool? I bet you we see that in Dallas.
What did they share something about that at the rally?
No, I just saw that internally with the communication that that is forthcoming, and I just think that it's
I was one of the case studies for that. I'm not sure how many people they interviewed, but I was on the list, so they took a bunch of notes as far as what I was doing that was working. So I'm excited about that to put the people that want to grow onto that. But yeah, I think to your point, just there, like I feel like EXP is literally doing everything they possibly can think of to support the agents in every sense, like from like just leading from the front, with kind of the conversations happening on an industry level, just really being bold and kind of, putting themselves out there, leadership putting themselves out there with, some things that people probably have very strong feelings and opinions on, and just kind of leading from the front on that. And then also just, very practically speaking, from the tools, the training, things like that. I actually was going through our Canva Pro account, and I found that they just it looks like they literally within the last week put a new listing presentation slide deck. And I was I was actually going through that because I have someone on my team who wants me to co-list something with him, and it's a pretty nice home in the area I'm in. And so I was kind of wanting to make sure I had just some things to talk about with the owners we're meeting with today. And so I was looking at the new slide deck they put out. I'm like, damn, this is really freaking dialed in. They've had templates before, but like this one, insanely comprehensive. I feel like if someone hasn't done a listing, if they've never done a seller appointment before, if they just pull up this template and review it, it literally has instructions in between the key slides. It's like, hey, here's how to use this, here's how to do that. I feel like you could have someone not even explain this to you. If you just follow the freaking slide deck here, you're going to look like a freaking rock star. And just things like that. It's like they're always finding ways to improve. And ways to kind of add to the value prop. Like I feel like that, like shoot, if you had to pay for that slide deck, like with how I think it's going to help someone convert if they're not already converting, it's like a no-brainer. But it's just so cool that just every single week, it's like they're figuring out something they can add to help the agents do even better.
Yeah, for sure. I continuously, and also, the other piece is just the advocacy within the industry, getting on the right side of the industry and the community, protecting homeowners' rights, but while also protecting what made organized real estate, and that is co-oping and that relationship. I just, they led from the front when it came to buyer brokerage. They're doing it again in Clear Cooperation, and they continuously do it in the tools and the systems and the things that they put in place. I'm looking forward to this swap over to Slack. I'm not familiar with it. I don't know anything about it, but it's my understanding you can track that information and get very, very personal on an individual file basis. So yeah, I mean, I continue to be impressed. It's a big company that has the ability to feel small and to feel personal. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Just I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a step up as far as the communication and just things you can do and how you can utilize it. But yeah, it's been awesome. So yeah, I've got a question for you. Something I was curious to get your take on. So like kind of going back your real estate journey, obviously you've been you've been around the industry for a minute here. Yeah, I was curious to kind of like hear some insight, like at what age, like because obviously you started in production, kind of built up your business, but like at what age, like did you, or would you say that you became like financially free, if you like, I guess at what point in your journey did that happen along the path of sales and building your business?
I think at age, if I look back on that, age 29 was a pretty big milestone for me in terms of the whole career path. And I say that because at 29, so I got married at 27, April 25th of 98. So I was 27. We had our first child, JD, when I was 29. We built a new home, and my wife was able to be, by choice, a stay-home mom and raise the kids and do the things that she wanted to do. That was a big, and I will also tell you that year was also the year that I transitioned, my first kind of transition into ownership, because I wanted to change my trajectory in terms of my time. I wanted to be a more involved father now that I had children, and we had our second child in 2001. So I began that path of moving over. So financially, I mean, a lot happened then. I was probably doing, let's see here, 1999. I started in 91. I was probably about let's call it 400 to 600 in GCI. So, but I had, we had saved, we had had a handful of rental properties, not a ton, probably 3 or 4. We had a new home. We put down a substantial amount of money. I think we put down 20% on what at the time, 28 years old, at $400,000 house, and 20%. We felt very accomplished, and we certainly, we had a nice house, nice cars, and we were able to keep my wife. And that may not sound like a big deal, but when you think about the fact that my wife's a doctor of pharmacy, that meant we were pulling about $135,000 in her income off the table and having her stay home. So it was a pretty big change.
Yeah, so 29 is probably like what the age you kind of hit that milestone. So like, I was curious to know like, so I mean that's a big accomplishment I think for like those listening who maybe are striving for more in their lives. You know, it's likely that a lot of our listeners are on a path to where they would strive to achieve a milestone like along those lines, if not on that path to financial freedom. But having since that point been in the industry quite a bit longer, like what would you like if there was one thing you could tell yourself at that exact point in time, 29 years old, you've had this phenomenal year financially, like what's one piece of wisdom that you would instill to yourself at that point, knowing what you know now?
100%, I would take 10% of every dollar I made and put it away. 100%.
Put it away
There's not even a freaking question mark in my mind. The one piece of advice that I didn't have that I wish I had, and that would have been to just put 10% of it away and never touch it. That to me, I invested in real estate because I know real estate, and I could see opportunity where other people didn't see opportunity. And real estate did very well for me to buy property, hold, flip, etc. But if I could make one change to my portfolio, I would have just taken 10%, and from day one. So that first year when I made just shy of 31,000, I would have put $3,000 in a savings account. And the next year I made 106,000. I would have put 10,000, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I built a lot of, like I said, a lot of assets and a lot of financial. My balance sheet looked great from all the real estate I held, but I would have, if I could have changed that, then I would have done more cash.
Okay, 10%. But like, what would you do like as that cash is building up? Like, would you put it somewhere, or what would you do then?
I mean, that's going to be an individual, person's choice. I'm not a huge stock person. Stock market, it's never been my main driver. But I will say this: the compounding effect of that cash in a market is pretty overwhelming. That doubling effect every 7 years. I stayed away from the stock market. I've been in and out of it a couple times. Never in a routine scenario. All my wealth went into real estate, buying real estate, and as a result, my wife and I own a lot of real estate. But I would have probably diversified from that to some extent, because I think that would have been good, and the liquidity of that is greater than the liquidity of real estate. You can certainly get rid of real estate, but even most circumstances, you're kind of at a minimum 30 days from liquidity. So that would have been a change. I guess I probably my wife and I are precious metal buyers, so we're gold and silver. We're believers in those kind of inflationary hedges. I probably would have put more in the stock market, even though I've always been reluctant to that. I think maybe there's a point in time where it would have made sense for me that I have some, but not tons.
Yeah, I got you. Good insight there. Some words of wisdom. Yeah, and that's something a mentor taught me, was like literally 10% of everything you earn, like to take that off the top and pay yourself first is the principle.
Absolutely. And I've got JD's taking 30% of all of his commissions and throwing it in his savings account. And the reason why I did 30% with him is that that money sits there year over year, just keeps compounding, and then he can pay the taxes out of that account each year that he owes. And so as the write-offs and things like that, he ends up saving a bit more than, he'll end up saving more than 10%, because he's not gonna find that after write-offs and things, he's not going to find that 30% of his gross income is going out in taxes. So I'm thinking that that's just teaching him to save even further than what he would on normal circumstances.
Yeah, that's a really good tip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I will say this: the best thing that I did in real estate was build relationships and maintain them. And so the number one thing that I see from agents is, two things. Number one, I see agents look at this business as transactional, and it's not transactional. It needs to be, if you're going to be successful, it needs to be something that you do, and then you maintain the relationship so you can continue to do this. You can compound and get the benefit of that compounding effect of your activities. That's number one. Is the ones I see people do transactional real estate, and that's just wrong. It's the wrong philosophy, and it won't get you anywhere. The other thing is that I see people unwilling to work hard in the beginning. And the reality is that when you get into real estate, if you really, really dedicated and kicked butt for 5 years, and I mean prospecting, I don't care what your prospecting method is, but if you really worked it for 5 years, the next 25 years, I'm not going to say you just coast, but for the next 25 years, you will not have to work as diligent unless you're still growing. You can lay a foundation in real estate in 5 years that will feed your family for life. If you want that foundation to be bigger, maybe you have to work 10 years or 15 years, and then the second 15 you can, but however long it takes you to get there, to where you're comfortable, you can maintain that if you do it through relationships and not through transactional lead source type of things.
Yeah, 100%. I was thinking about that just last night. I'm like, anyone, if they have a goal in real estate, like really at the end of the day, you just need so many people in your database who are engaged contacts of yours that you actually have that connection and relationship with. Because you have if you want to close a certain amount of deals to produce a certain amount of income, you can work backwards and figure out how many people you need in your database to do that. It's almost like so simple, like it's such a simple concept at least, but I think the missing link is like how many people actually recognize that. Because if you are very much transactional in how you're thinking and approaching things, you're probably not recognizing what your lifetime value of a client is. You're like, that's probably going completely out the window, and you're just thinking about your next closing. And like most agents, probably not doing much, if anything at all, to stay connected with people after that. So that lifetime value of a client, which should be there, is going completely out the window.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a shame. It's a shame when somebody builds a relationship with a person and they represent them and help them through the difficult transaction of real estate. And then they don't maintain the relationship. Now that consumer has to go back out into the marketplace and try to create a new relationship that they feel comfortable with. When an agent, all they had to do was just keep in touch, and that person would, 8 out of 10 of them, 7 out of 10 of them would naturally gravitate back because of the comfort and familiarity, as opposed to going out there and seeking a new relationship. There's obviously a certain percentage of people that are opportunistic, and they're just going to take what they think will get them the best deal in that situation. But I bet 7 out of 10 people would much prefer to deal with the person that they know, like, and trust than go out and try to forge a new relationship in the middle of a difficult transaction of buying or selling a piece of real estate.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, relationships go a long way. If they didn't, I mean, all of us would be out of the industry at this point with technology. But people, want they want a personal connection. They want to know it's someone they can trust when they're dealing with these big transactions here.
So I got a question for you. Have you taken any classes on AI?
Any classes? No. I mean, I've had people, like, I've been in trainings, but I wouldn't really say like a class. Like, I've heard people speak on AI who would say that they're an expert at it, but I haven't like specifically signed up for any classes about it. No.
I want to become more familiar with the capabilities, the tools, the usage, the proper usage. I want to learn more about it. So I was just kind of curious if you had taken anything, because I just keep having situations where I use it or somebody else uses it, and I'm just amazed at how amazing it is. So anyway, I was kind of curious if you had any familiarity.
Well, I know there's people kind of in the world of EXP that are good at. I mean, Phil Stringer's someone who speaks about it. I'm pretty sure he has something, a class or something of that nature. I would think.
Phil Stringer.
Yep.
I'm gonna look him up on Work Chat. Phil Stringer, Stringer.
Yep. But yeah, he's come. He's spoken at Brent Gove's events before, and yeah, he's like he shows agents how to use AI and how to like make prompts to help them with different things. And I know there's other people within EXP I've seen that do classes. I'm pretty sure if you search like AI, you'll probably find some different classes there.
Yeah, I'm thinking I may go to like the community college here, or some places where I can take a very thorough class, not just somebody's perspective, but more of an educational, not a sales pitch.
Yeah,
I find that your community colleges usually do a pretty good job in that kind of stuff.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, would love to hear what you learned from that.
Yeah. That's where I went to in 2008, when I decided to go to culinary school. I called up my local community college and registered for it and went through culinary school. But it was a phenomenal program, and it was, you're not taking cooking classes. I was in school, so it was thorough from beginning to end, from sanitation to the mother sauces and the background of food, etc. So I think maybe AI would be a good one to do there, where you get kind of the basic that you can build upon. So anyway,
yeah, that's a good thought.
Well, my friend, next Sunday's Mother's Day. Make sure you take care of your mama.
Oh yeah, of course.
Do nice things for the ladies in your life. That beautiful wife of yours. She's the mother of your pup, at least. So you got to make sure you take care of her as well. Otherwise, you may be out in a smaller house. You may not have the proper lighting the next time you get on here with me. So I don't want you getting in trouble.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
All right. Hey, until next week, have a great week, everybody. We appreciate you joining us on ABC's Agent Broker Conversations. Each and every week, we're coming to you with the conversations about real estate from two different perspectives. We encourage you to be the third perspective. We ask you to like, join, subscribe, share, follow, dislike, piss on us, whatever feels right. But we enjoy what we're doing, and we'd love to have you come along for the ride. Until then, have a great week, everybody.